Welcome back to Town of Football. Today's review video is on some new exclusive cleats from Adidas. These came out during the Super Bowl, so months ago. You guys have been begging me to do this review, and finally getting around to doing it. But it's the Ultraboost cleats from Adidas. If you're not familiar with these cleats, I don't know where you've been living. They came out during the Super Bowl. There was a lot of hype behind these. They did a whole campaign, and they're based off of the popular Ultraboost shoe. So this is the Ultraboost 3.0. Which released at the same time. It's part of the silver pack. If you guys aren't familiar with Boost shoes, it's one of the best rated shoes for 2017 so far. They use a cushioning system called Boost in the sole. All of this right here is Boost in the midsole. It's the first time they had silver colored Boost in the midsole. And then the shoe has a prime knit upper. So this cleat that I'm going to review today is the Ultraboost cleat. It actually shares a lot more with the Ultraboost shoe than it does with any of the Adidas football cleats like the ADIDAS 6.0s that just came out. So what's unique about this cleat? First, it has this prime knit mesh upper. Now it's a different prime knit than the prime knit I usually talk about with some of their apparel, their pants, their jerseys, their gloves. It's not a compression fit prime knit. It does have overlays underneath. I think a lot of the concern from you guys after I posted on Instagram was that, you know, what would it feel like to get cleated? Is it strong enough, durable enough material? Obviously, this is not Adidas' first time making football cleats. It is a very durable shoe. It's not the compressive fit, but it is a knit material, which is super soft, super cool, and just swagged out. Then on the inside, the cushioning system is Boost. So this is the first cleat that uses the Boost cushioning, and that's really the highlight of the shoe. You can see the Boost through the cleat. So right here, it's got white Boost inside of the cleat. You can see it from the bottom, and you can actually see it from inside as well. So right here, you can see down to the Boost. Now, look at the sole of the running shoe. This is actually a lot thicker Boost normally, but it does have a thin layer of Boost, and it's different from the midsole of the ADIDAS 6.0s. So it does have a lot more cushioning in this cleat than any other of the ADIDAS. The other part of it is you look at now comparing it to the 6.0s, it's much more in line with the Boost. First of all, this cleat, the 6.0s, it has a sock liner inside. So there's a little bit of a kind of compressive fit, I guess you could call it, with the sock liner, and then it has the upper around the sock liner. So there's actually two layers inside this cleat. This cleat, one-piece construction all around. The sock liner is the actual cleat. So you look inside, it's only one piece. You can see the laces actually go to the inside of the cleat when you're going through the eyelets. So that's how one piece this cleat is. The other aspect of it is you see that the three stripes are actually molded onto the side of the cleat. They give it more strength, durability. Has a lower cut here for the ankle bone than the ADIDAS 6.0. It's going to give you a lot more flexibility, maneuverability, and it does have this high pull tab to pull on the cleat as well as cushion the Achilles, which is the same thing as the Ultraboost training and running shoe. Gives you the nice Ultraboost right here, lets you know what's in the midsole, and the heel counter, albeit strong, is a little bit different than the 6.0s. I think it's a little bit less bulky than the ADIDAS 6.0s. You guys can kind of take a look for comparison. This is the heel counter. This really keeps your ankle locked in place. Then you can see the heel counter on the ADIDAS Boost. So it's a little bit thinner on the Boost than it is on the 6.0. So that's kind of the overview of the cleat. Can you get these cleats? First of all, no, you can't get them right now. Adidas did say they are going to re-release them. Don't know when. I'm really waiting for the black version to come out. So they're supposed to come out with an all black version, an all white version. I'm not sure if they're going to come out with the silver pack again. Now we're going to get into the review. I'm going to talk about the weight of the cleat, the fit, the traction, the ventilation, the durability, and of course the cushioning, which I already talked a little bit about already. So first, let's talk about the traction on the cleat. The plate is, like I said, different. It's based off of the Ultraboost cleat. It's different from the ADIDAS 6.0s. You can see the differences here. It's got more studs around the outside. They're all round on both cleats. But on these, you actually have two at the toe as opposed to just one. You also don't have this pivotal portion like you do on the 6.0, you do have a stud here right in the middle. So I don't know the differences between the frames. You know, they usually call this frame like a sprint frame. I don't know the differences between this, but the traction is the same rating as the 6.0s, which is 5 stars out of 5. So next up, we'll talk about the weight of the cleat. Even though it's not an ADIDAS cleat, it's an Ultraboost cleat, it is super light. The one-piece construction, the prime knit with the overlays do make it super light, so it still gets a 5 out of 5 for weight. Now where this cleat differs, one of the big differences that I noticed between this and the ADIDAS line was the actual fit of the cleat. It does fit true to size when you're looking at the length of the shoe. It's also a medium cleat, so not for wide feet or narrow feet, but medium just like most of the cleats out there. But where I really struggled with this was this portion right here. So you guys know that I have thinner ankles, you know, I always talk about it. So with this cleat, even tying them super tight, I did have a little bit of heel slip coming out. If you don't have really tiny ankles like I do, you should be fine. But if you do have really small ankles, you're either going to have to wear really thick socks or tie them really tight. So just think about that when you're getting it. But for that reason, I had to give this a 4 out of 5 for fit. Next up is the ventilation in the cleat. Again, the one-piece construction, the prime knit with the mesh overlay really does help in the ventilation. So I talked about the ADIDAS. They had like 2-layer because they had the sock on the inside. That cleat, if you've seen that review, that got a 4 out of 5 for ventilation. This does get a little bit better. This got a perfect score, 5 out of 5 for ventilation. The cushioning in this cleat, the Ultraboost, that is the main difference. That is the unique thing about the Ultraboost cleats. That's one of the reasons why, besides the design, and they kind of feel like the Yeezys, that is what makes this cleat, is the cushioning in it. It is better than the ADIDAS, like I said before. Those got a 4 out of 5, if you've seen that review. This, I had to give it a 5. This is, not only is it very low profile cushioning for a speed cleat, so you maintain that ground feel with the actual turf or grass that you're running on. It gives you that quick reaction time because it is very low to the ground, but it actually absorbs the impact. It is the most comfortable ADIDAS cleat that I have put on. Obviously, the Ultraboost shoes are super comfortable, so I wouldn't expect anything less, but I definitely have to call that out. So for cushioning, 5 out of 5. One of the things you guys were worried about, that I got questions about in my Instagram post, was the durability of this cleat. Knowing that it's uses prime knit, you know, you guys are familiar with the Ultraboost shoes. Is it durable? Yes. The answer is yes. You can see here, even on the toe, there's actually an overlay. It's clear, so you can't really notice it unless you're up close. It's a clear overlay to maintain some of that durability, the shape of the toe box. You're not going to get creases in this. It's going to maintain the shape. It's going to be durable. I did have one person stuff in my foot in practice, and you know, it just felt like it hurt. Felt like every other cleat, it hurt. But you're not going to have any broken toes or anything like that. It is super durable, and that is throughout the shoe. When you look at even the eyelets, you can see that the overlays that they put over to make it super strong, even with that prime knit material. So durability, 5 out of 5. Now the next thing I usually talk about with the cleats after I give you guys all the ratings is what positions are these good for? Where can you get them and how much are they? So I'll start with what positions. It's a speed cleat. It's a speed cleat similar to the ADIDAS line, but I talked about all the differences. This was limited release, so they were priced if you were lucky enough to have them. They came out in limited release for $180. They are exclusive. The swag is on point. Most of the ratings that I got, it was a 5, right? I think the only thing was the fit was a 4. And then the colors. This is the only color. It was part of the silver pack. For me, they came with this, and they came with the silver Ultraboost 3.0 shoes. They are supposed to be, like I said before, releasing an all black colorway and an all white colorway. Those definitely keep an eye out for. Follow ADIDAS on Twitter. I think that's where they release these. That's where they may be releasing the next ones coming up. So definitely check those out. If you like my review, remember to give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, check out my other Cleat review videos, and I will see you guys next time.